Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 160. Before I get into this week's review, I of course have to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons. Special thanks to Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Rat, Ryzen 4K, Artist, Mac Campaign, Wave of Manga, and our newest patron, Sam the Ace. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the start of videos or access to reviews for Solo Leveling and The Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. If you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and you should be sure to like and leave a comment on this video to help boost us up in the algorithm. It'd be a big help. With that out of the way, let's get on with the review. With this week's chapter kind of marking the start of the Culling game, we got some very interesting setup here. I would say the most interesting part of this chapter is the first half of it, because it's all about Kenjaku. Kenjaku doing stuff in this cursed realm, which I think is a new thing. I don't think the actual cursed realm has been mentioned before. I know a lot of people thought that the wasteland Jogo referred to was the realm where curses originate from, but I'm like 99% sure that was just him saying, the wasteland in 100 years after we've destroyed all humans. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant by the wasteland. But I know there have been some theories about there being some kind of place where cursed energy and curses originate from. Since Sukuna's fight with Maharaga, when he said open for his technique, I know I certainly thought that he may have been accessing some kind of cursed plane to, use that fire technique. And in this chapter, we have the confirmation, I guess technically first appearance of a cursed realm. And this is apparently the place in between dreams and reality. And if that's where curses come from, that makes sense, because curses are a manifestation of emotions and beliefs also, at least in the case of special grade potential apparitions, if that's what they're called. It's been forever since those have been brought up. So, yeah, it would make sense that a place that's between the subconscious world and the physical world would be where curses come from. And Kenjaku leads Yuji's school friend Sasaki, remember her from the Occult Research Club? He leads her through the Cursed Realm, which is interesting. There are these giant curses and pterodactyls. This big mole rat looking thing looks kind of similar to the cursed spirit from the first episode, like when the Occult Research Club unsealed one of Sukuna's fingers. And as some people have pointed out, there are two figures on the roof here, right next to this big mole rat curse. I'm not sure exactly who these are supposed to be. It may be a mystery, it may be set up for something. However, due to the similarity between this thing and the curse from episode 1, I'm wondering, what is the cursed realm? Is this where curses originate from? Is this where they go after they've been... because, we do know that curses can reincarnate, essentially. I'm just wondering, what is the exact relation between this place and the physical world? Does the physical world imprint itself on the cursed realm? Will there be remnants of significant past events or people within the cursed realm? If so, this could potentially be some kind of reflection of when Yuji and Megumi tried to beat that grade 2? Was it grade 2? Pretty sure it was. Or this could be set up for new characters, who knows? And you also have these pterodactyl things flying around everywhere. I have no idea what the hell these are supposed to be. But this is a really cool spread. It's really cool. It goes from like this black background with nothing, the anti-heart, and then you have this very detail-filled background with all of this stuff going on. It's very interesting. Now, the most interesting thing here is that Kenjaku is here to lead Sasaki out of the Culling game, because Sasaki doesn't want to be in it. And people that don't want to be in the Culling game, that aren't forced to be in it, are allowed to leave. So he is leading her out, and while he does this, he thanks her for getting along with his son. So that adds a very interesting dynamic to things here. I mean, we already knew that Kenjaku was Yuji's mom. That was very obvious. I feel like anyone who finds this to be a huge revelation or something was, like, not doing a great job reading. But the fact that he thanks Sasaki for being friends with Yuji is very interesting, because there may be a few different ways to look at this. The first one, and the one that came to mind initially, was that Kenjaku actually does kind of care about Yuji in some regard, which would be very shocking. It'd be kind of a twist that Kenjaku actually cares about Yuji, beyond just being like a pawn. I would be very interested in seeing that fleshed out more. But the alternative, I think, is that Kenjaku is very grateful for Sasaki getting along with Yuji, because them being friends was what led to Yuji becoming part of the Occult Research Club and then finding Sukuna's finger and becoming Sukuna's vessel. So he's like, thank you for helping my plans move along. I appreciate it a lot. It could be either of those. Maybe a mix of the two. This also suggests that Kenjaku has been watching Yuji like this entire time. Which, when you consider the fact that he's responsible for Yuji's birth, is actually really not that surprising either. But Sasaki is the only person that Kenjaku mentions this to, so she immediately thinks of Yuji. And we see that the colonies for the Culling game are these giant, pitch black pillars in the sky. Or, well, you know, they go up into the sky. It's not really clear how tall they actually are. But they're cool. They're really neat. And now we get to check in on what the Jujutsu Tech people are up to. So, the interesting thing is that the angel's name, Hana Furusu, is not actually her name. I'm assuming that Hana Furusu is the name of the original sorcerer, but it's not the name of the body that they're inhabiting right now. That's why Yuji is a member of the Culling game under his name instead of Sukuna's, even though Sukuna is the one who is supposed to be a member of the game. So they are coming up with a plan to try and find the angel. So Hikari and Panda are going to be going to Tokyo number 2 because Hajime is there, and Hajime is seemingly the strongest person in the Culling game right now. So Hikari figures that he's the one that could go and fight him. So I'm looking forward to that. I honestly didn't really expect Hajime to fight Hikari, but works for me. I'm not complaining. I imagine what's going to happen is Hikari is going to try fighting Hajime, and he's going to get his ass kicked at the start because his technique is not going to work perfectly. Because as Yuta said, when he's on a roll, when he's at his best, he's stronger than him. But I think we need to see Hikari at his worst to really appreciate how strong he is when he's at his peak. So he's probably going to get his ass kicked, and then he's going to meet whatever conditions he has to be in peak condition, and then he's going to whoop Hajime's ass, depending on how strong Hajime is. I mean, if Hajime is as strong as a special great sorcerer, that might be a different story. They'll have a high diff fight. They'll come to blows equally. But that's going to be something real good. We're going to have Hajime's probably a very simple technique of just using lightning versus whatever the fuck Hikari has going on. God have mercy on Hajime dealing with those train doors. Yeah. So then they're also going to have Yuji and Megumi team up to go to Tokyo number 1. So yeah, we're going to have more Yuji and Megumi team up. That's pretty cool. Also, Kirara is going to stay outside to observe what's going on since they're not able to contact people within the barrier. Basically, if anything starts going to shit outside the barrier, Kirara can, like, run over to one of the colonies and be like, yo, shit's going really south out here. You should probably come outside. So we begin on November 12th, I think. That is when we really start the Culling game for real. We have Hikari and Panda going to Tokyo number 2, and we have Yuji and Megumi going to Tokyo number 1. It's very cool to see Hikari in the Jujutsu Tech uniform and Yuji back in his old Jujutsu Tech uniform with the red hoodie and everything. It's real cool. It's real nice. This is a good chapter. I feel like this is fantastic setup for the Culling game. Well, I mean, really, like the last 30, or not 30. The last, like, 20 chapters have been set up for the Culling game. But this is a good start. This is a good introduction. This is the beginning of the Culling game, and I like it. I like what we have set up here. I'm very much looking forward to what's going to be going on. We have a few wild cards to take into consideration, such as Yuta, Maki, the Kyoto students, and also what's going on with Nobara. Is Nobara dead? Maybe, maybe not. We're gonna find out during this Culling game, obviously. So, yeah, I'm going to be talking about my predictions about what may happen, as well as, you know, talking with some other people about theirs, and a stream I'm gonna be doing tonight. So, you guys should definitely hop in if you're interested in that. But that's all I have to say for this week's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews every week. If you enjoyed discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I will link that down in the description. And if you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Kengan Omega, Chainsaw Man, and Bleach, I do videos on those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.